just first of all, I want to say thank you for joining us today. This is actually the first session of Wakelet Community Week. It's one that I'm very, very excited about. We're joined by the SWAT team all the way from Texas with Deb and Tish. I myself am sat in the UK from the Wakelet team, but this is all about the students today, how they're using Wakelet. And we always show kind of student examples, especially SWAT, as Tish knows, we share in the portfolios all the time. But it's even better to get the words and how much they enjoy it from the students themselves. So this session is all about them. They're the stars. So without further ado, I'll actually mute my my video. I'll be in the Q&A box answering any questions you have. But yeah, over to you, Tish and Deb, and the SWAT team.
Thanks, James. Welcome, everybody. We're so excited to have you joining us, and I am so excited to share my student leaders with you today. This is such an honor that we get to kick off Community Week with student voices, and you know, if you follow me for any amount of time, I am all about advocating for student voice and student choice, and these three students that have joined me are incredible students. They are all different years and levels of SWAT. Avery just graduated from high school, so congratulations to Avery. Wyatt is starting his third year of SWAT, and Nora has now been with me 2 years. This is her second year, and if you follow Bunsey, she's recently wrote a Bunsey blog for Bunsey explaining how she uses Bunsey for her academics and her creativity. So I kind of want to give you a little bit of background. I'm going to share my screen, and James is going to pop the SWAT Twitter account in the chat as well as the SWAT website so that you have access to that later. So SWAT actually stands for Students Who Advocate Technology, and we came up with the idea for SWAT in 2017 after we saw Cody Holt present with his Chrome Squad. And the real goal for SWAT, being able to take that opportunity for our own district and our own high school, I really wanted to focus on the leadership piece and not just teaching students leadership, but teaching them how to lead themselves. So we formed a team of we've had anywhere from 12 to 15 students down to 6, but basically these students are learning in the classroom with me as I digital coach with my teachers and my administrators, but they're in the classroom with me periodically throughout the day. And you can see the books behind them in this picture. We do book studies. They learn graphic design. They learn digital citizenship. They learn skills for when they're going off into college and career. And so you can learn more about us here. Find us, follow us. They have an Instagram account that they run. They run the YouTube channel. We have so many programs that we do. There's just not enough time to talk about it. So today they're going to focus on sharing with you how they have used Wakelet in the classroom, not just in SWAT, but also in their other classes. So I'm going to turn it over to Anora, who is going to talk to you now about her first collection.
All right, so the first thing that I'm going to show you guys is this is a Wakelet that I made for my pre-AP English 1 class. We were reading The Count of Monte Cristo, and we were given options to fill out a Google Doc about character symbolism, or make a Google slide presentation, or make a Wakelet board. And with how much I love Wakelet, and I've been using it this past year, I chose to do the Wakelet board. And so as you can see here, I just chose pictures that were available on Wakelet. I used the media view so that it wouldn't look really crowded. It would just be really easy to just go through it and read it all nice and neat. And yeah, I just wrote very small paragraphs that just look really neat on there. And my teacher absolutely loved it. The next thing that I want to show you is a collection that I have for music. This one, I have videos of songs. I have videos of our school's marching show. I have pictures from the worship band or my band pictures. And that's just to show the difference in, number one, how I present myself, to just I like to see how I've grown from freshman year to sophomore year to junior year. And I just like going back and seeing how far that we've come, or seeing my favorite parts of a marching show. And it's just one of my favorite ways to just view my progress. The next thing I want to show you is my band officer audition that I actually did on Wakelet. Now, this originally we were supposed to do in a Google Drive folder, but I emailed my band officer and asked him if I could do it in Wakelet because I was trying to grow my Wakelet portfolio, and just I thought it would look way nicer than a Google Drive folder. And so he gave me permission to do it. I used the media view again just so that it wouldn't look all crowded because it was mostly paragraphs. But if you go up to the top there, it'll show you a video that I used with the Flipgrid feature. And I just pre-recorded it and put it in Flipgrid so that I can put the video in there that I needed without having to do a link to Google Drive. So everything was just all in one place. So those are just 3 examples for you for how I use Wakelet.
Nora, I have a question for you. I've never asked Nora this question. So if you've ever been in a presentation with me, you know I will fly by the seat of my pants. How did you create this header that you have on this band officer Wakelet?
I made that in Canva. That one, we had to make a binder cover, which is when we had auditions last year, my freshman year. Actually, no, 2 years ago, that was my freshman year. We had actual binders because we were in person, of course. But this year he wanted the same type of thing, to just see pictures, your position that you were trying out for. So I did a Canva collage, used 2 pictures that were serious and one that was funny just to mess around with him. I also made one for my friend, and I made his on Adobe Spark. It was actually the first thing that I made on there just to try it out, mess around with it, and help him out in the process.
That's awesome. Thanks, Sonora. So next we have Wyatt, and Wyatt, I just want to give a little intro on Wyatt. As you know, Nora's in band, so all of my students have different organizations that they're a part of. Wyatt is part of a football team. He's recently spoke with another SWAT member, Brady, about mental health and about sports and, you know, just teams and how to be part of a team and how to mentor. And Wyatt, I just want to tell you, has made so much growth and progress since we first met his freshman year. And you can see that by the collection he is going to show you next.
Yes, so my first example is my online portfolio, and I decided to use Wakelet because it is very easy to use, very easy to access, and the organization is amazing. As you can see, I have 7 sections on my online portfolio, and on those sections are different aspects of my career and what I've accomplished. So I have my resume, accomplishments. Those are such as my Eagle Scout. I have videos, my literature, essays, and books that I've read. So here's my resume, and I added my PDF for it. And
Wyatt,
I don't know if she's going to cook on it, but
could you add your Google Drive file, your Google Doc? I think we've done that in the past, right?
Yes, we have. It's all linked with Google Drive, so you can add anything from your Google account onto Wakelet. Makes it super easy.
What was the reasoning for you uploading a PDF instead of a Google Drive in this instance?
It makes it easier for either an employer or somebody who's looking at it to download it. In my opinion, I just found it better for me. So I went ahead and made it a PDF. But Drive is, if you feel better doing it through Drive, then go ahead and do that. So there's my online portfolio. Feel free to check it out. You can go to our SWAT website and find all of our portfolio links there. So, yes. But I really love using Wakelet for that. My second example, I recently made this collection, and it's some of my favorite quotes. And I added only 5, but there's from Book of Mormon, Bible, and John C. Maxwell. As you can see, these are just to help empower me, encourage me if I am having a bad day and I need some encouragement to get up and be productive. Then I can go back to this collection and find that encouragement I need to go forward and get that creativity going in my mind.
I can't believe you didn't add a Miss Poncio quote to this, Wyatt.
Yeah, I'll have to add one later.
If you were going to add a Miss Poncio quote to your quote board, what quote would you add that I always say to you?
Oh my gosh. Let's see. There's so many. I can't even think of one.
Okay,
I'll put it on there, and then once I
come back to it,
everybody will be able to see it. And
right.
All right, moving on to my third example, our podcast notes. And we felt inspired to make our show notes and put them onto sub-collections on Wakelet. And sub-collections is a great tool, and we're not going to talk a whole lot about that, but please sign up for the afternoon session with Ms. Poncio. She'll be talking more about sub-collections and how to use them. Mm-hmm. But go ahead and click on episode 2 if you will, please. This on here, we have all of the links that we used or mentioned in our podcast. So it makes it really easy to send just the Wakelet link to whoever asks about it. And on that Wakelet link, they have every single thing that we talked about in that podcast. So again, it makes it really easy and effective. We have our Spotify link, our Anchor, where we actually did our podcast, recorded it. We have our show notes, all the website, all that good stuff. But we found this really easy to organize and use, and I think we're going to continue to use it for a long time. So
right. I just want to intercede here and let everybody know, if you haven't used sub-collections with your students, of course, Anna and I are talking about that in our afternoon session, sub-collections specifically, but sub-collections is fairly new in Wakelet, but to collaborate with your students, and I'm always about turning over the responsibilities to my students. This sub-collection option gives me the ability to turn those things over to my students and make the learning really about students, where they're taking ownership of their learning and taking ownership of that process. So for episode 3, Honora already knows that she's going to go in and create a sub-collection for episode 3. She's in charge of episode 3. And so it will say created by Honora with all of those items that we discuss. Very good. Anything else you want to add, Wyatt, about podcast or sub-collections?
Not really. I just makes it really easy and effective, and I enjoy using Wakelet. So yeah.
Very good. Okay, well now Honora's going to talk to us about, if you joined Wakelet Live yesterday, you saw my strawberry cake that I made, my strawberry bread. I didn't expect my strawberry bread to be highlighted, but Honora's going to talk to you about this collection that we have for SWAT.
Right, so this is our SWAT Family Recipes collection. It has recipes from all of our current members that just graduated. I think we even added some from members that have graduated a while ago. We put the link in to a group chat we have with all of the people that have ever been in SWAT. And so, yep, we just have all these recipes that we all love. And I just remember us being really confused when this was first brought up, because the link was put into our group me, and she just said,
and also Google Classroom, right? So I can put it in Google Classroom. For those of you that aren't using it, you can definitely pull that into Microsoft Teams, Google Classroom. But I pulled the link into GroupMe because we're using GroupMe to communicate during remote learning. And then Honora, you were confused.
Yeah, we were all like, that's an interesting school assignment. Just put a copy and paste a family recipe and put it into a Wakelet. Okay. But we had to kind of work around it, figure out how to add it so that you could see all the added by Avery Camp, added by Aaron Camp. And so we had to figure out, like, you have to go in incognito, you have to not log in, and just work around it. But it all ended up looking really good so that you can see exactly who added it, when they added it. And it's kind of just a really nice way to show something personal just within our team. So
right,
yeah, that's our family recipes.
I think the goal really, from the teacher perspective, my goal was, one, to have my students practice using Wakelet still, even though we were remote learning, but also bring in a piece of their family or their culture from their homes. Since we were all spending so much time at home, it was just a good thing to see. I will tell you, and he's not going to say anything about it, but Wyatt's mom, she is the very best cook. And I was just looking to see, I mean, we see some homemade quiches. I'm willing to bet that's a Wyatt Smith mom recipe. If we can get Wyatt's mom to add some more recipes, you guys can definitely access that she makes the best oatmeal cookies in the world, right? So team bonding is really what that was about, specifically. Okay, and then Avery, we are ready.
So was it in the fall or the spring?
It was in the fall, and it was in a very quick, short period, 4 weeks.
I think we had, just either just a month or a little over. But our SWAT team, along with a couple of Ms. Zeman's library aides, were asked to kind of test the Wakelet Student Ambassador program. So as you can see, each section of it followed a specific topic. So we had Meet the Ambassadors, where it was curation, where we curated things all about me. We had pictures, we had music that we like, we have awards that we've won. And then there was critical thinking, where we had to choose a topic and contrast two different viewpoints. So it was really cool because we got to pull in lots of news articles and make cool graphics for it. And it was really interesting to see everyone's perspective and how they did it, because no one did it the same way. I know Jill did it where she had all of her websites that she used on the sides, and then in the middle, since she was using the Moodboard, she was able to kind of go back and forth between the two articles or several of them and link them together. And then there was creativity, where we got to make our own student ambassador flag, which was really cool, seeing everyone's and how they use the different Wakelet logos and colors to design their own flag that they thought represented Wakelet. And then my favorite one was the collaboration. And this one was really fun because we had to partner with other students to create a huge playlist full of all of our favorite songs. And something that I really liked about that was no one did it the same way. Brady took screenshots on Spotify and put them in there. I just added links from YouTube. Other people dragged in iTunes links. So that was just really cool to see. And you got to have a whole collection of all of your friends' music that they like. And then we had communication, where we had to just choose a topic we wanted to talk about and create a whole presentation over it, whether it was an actual presentation in Google Slides that we linked in, or if it was just a presentation going through Wakelet, kind of like how Nora did hers with the layout of having them all in a row. And then finally, we did our final portfolios, and they're all linked here, so you can go look at them. And I think my next one is actually talking about the portfolios.
It is. And
can I jump in quick? One of the things that's great about the student ambassador is you're teaching them digital citizenship, giving credit where credit is due. So when you look at their portfolios, you will see all the proper citations. That's one of the most important things that they're learning.
Yes, so this is my digital portfolio. And it's
I'm
kind of
following you, Avery. I need to go follow you. Okay, I'm following you now.
So Wyatt did his, where each of his were individual collections. Since I have tons of collections for other things, I decided to just make mine all in one collection. So I have a link to my account where I do calligraphy. I have a link to my Twitter. I have my resume, and I don't know if you can see it, but I have my digital portfolio actually linked at the top of my resume. I have all of my personality types. I have certificates from being a level 1 certified educator, certificates from Youth Max, videos that I have specifically written the script for or edited. And then I have some book recommendations of books we've read in SWAT that have really impacted me. And then just some that I've read for fun, like Ranger's Apprentice and Harry Potter. And then I have a couple click sheets that I've made for how-tos when I wasn't really in the mood to make a video.
Okay. And Avery, I want you to speak to, since you are our graduate and you have gone through the process of having a school Google account and housing all of your files there, all of your emails, can you speak to the fact that Wakelet makes it easier when you are leaving an organization to kind of hang on to the stuff that you really want to keep.
So originally I made my Wakelet with my school email, but then halfway through the year last year when we started the ambassador program, I realized I need to move this over to my personal. And it was super easy because I was able to just copy all the links directly and just switch them over. So that was really nice and super easy. And it wasn't a huge hassle of having to transfer ownership and going through all these different steps.
And then let me ask you one question. You mentioned several times that students who were creating Wakelets were not doing it the same way. Do you have any stories of SWAT members who did not start their portfolio in Wakelet and maybe moved their stuff over to Wakelet later?
Right. Yeah. So Jill, she just graduated as well. She started her portfolio as a Google site. So she had lots of different tabs, kind of like our SWAT website. But then whenever we did the ambassador program, she decided to move it over to Wakelet so then she could have all of hers there. And so now she has her SWAT and her work and resume and school. And from what I've heard, she really likes having this because then she can have everything here. And it's a whole lot more user friendly than a website where you have to go through and find the right tab that you're looking for.
I also want to mention here, just because it hasn't been mentioned yet, but a lot of what we talk about in SWAT is branding, personal branding, professional branding. And so all of our SWAT members not only have their own personal, professional Twitter accounts, but some of them also have Instagram accounts. And you can see here, Jill has linked her Instagram account here. And when you go to her Instagram account, I believe she has linked her Wakelet profile as well. So a lot of the students are learning the how and why to link those things back and forth so that people are visiting. I'm sure that if you have joined any Wakelet webinar at all in the last year, you've seen Julie's final portfolio. She uses that for her cake business. She does a business on the side. So that is one of the things we encourage our students to do, is to use their talents to go out and be entrepreneurs as well. Okay, so Avery, that was awesome. James, do we have any questions at this point? Do we want to, is anybody asking any questions that we could maybe answer before we hand it over back to Honora?
There are loads of questions coming through, Tish.
Okay, well, let's take a little break. We'll answer some questions, and then I'm going to let Honora take over again.
Amazing. Well, I think one question is for you, Tish. I know you mentioned that you have a collaboration session later on, but can you just talk a bit more about how you've maybe used collaboration with your students, and then obviously direct them towards your session later on?
Okay, so well, the podcast example was definitely one example. Let me go ahead and I'm going to open up my profile here, okay, so that I can. And what you need to know about all of my different Wakelet accounts, this is actually a personal account, and I use this one even with my students because it's hard right now to go back and forth. But if you were watching the announcements yesterday, I think Spaces is going to be a great solution for me. I know Deb also has multiple Wakelet accounts. And so, yeah, we're going back and forth a lot of the times. You can actually see a lot of my current projects on my Wakelet account. So if you go to my profile, I'm going to be talking about these specifically. I use Wakelet for multiple things. One of the things I'm going to show you in a little bit is the student leadership lesson. I'm going to show you actually a lesson plan that I've created for my students to walk through that's self-paced. This year I decided, because of the sub-collection option, we decided that the way that they were going to turn in their final resumes was through Wakelet. So I will show you this one. I'm going to talk more about this one later. This is they all created sub-collections. So I gave them the instructions here, and then I shared with them the contributor link. I wanted them to go edit the collection and add a sub-collection. So as you can see, I just use this as their hub to turn things in. As a teacher, for me, this makes it so easy to go through each student's portfolio. When I click on their sub-collection, you can see that I have all of the components that I've asked them to finalize for me. So Olivia's resume will show up. Olivia's final portfolio will show up. I can't remember the other thing I've asked. Do you guys remember, Avery, Wyatt, or Honora? What else did I ask you guys to include there?
I think it was just our resume and portfolio.
Right, just the two things. Now, some of the students actually added in their Instagram links if they wanted, or their Twitter links, just because we talk a lot about the resume is the promise, and then their portfolio is the proof of what they can do. So they can say a lot of things here on their resume, but when I click on that portfolio, it's proof. This was easy. I just really went through and used a rubric on the side, and I just used Wakelet. And then I went to my grade book and I entered in the grade. I will tell you that every student that you see here made a very high grade because they had put in a lot of work. Some of them requested Zoom meetings with me individually for one-on-one sessions. We also met in partners. I had them pair up with a team. So an older SWAT member paired up with a newer SWAT member so that they could learn from each other. But we really use Wakelet specifically in this time of remote learning. We were basically thrown into this remote learning environment. Wakelet made it so easy for me to collaborate, grade, and really just get everything done. Does that help, James? Is that a pretty solid answer? I'm going over more later, so please, if you can.
That was perfect.
Okay. Let's see. We have a.
That's perfect, Tish. One more.
Oh, okay. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah, so one more question. This was for Avery, but I suppose everyone can have a little answer. It's from Ricardo, who asked, how long did it take to put together the portfolio?
Oh, Avery, you're muted. There you go.
It kind of depends, because my original one, it probably took a couple days just figuring out everything that I wanted to put in. But I've probably worked on it for months, just pulling in pieces and rearranging it. As you can see, I actually created a new one to have all of my graphics. And with that, I was able to add where I made it and what I made it for. She'll cool down a little bit. I personally love using the Moodboard because I love how you can just see all the pictures and they're kind of all arranged. So I uploaded my graphic. I put where I made it. Most of these were made in Canva, if not all of them. And then I explained what they were. And I still have a whole lot that I need to go add.
So what you should know about Avery, she's the student that's the perfectionist, and she is going to spend so much time making sure that it is perfect. Of course, not every student is like that. I always use Brady as an example. Brady, if you don't know Brady, which hopefully you guys will all learn about Brady, they all start laughing when I say Brady's name. But Brady, he's not Avery. His personality is different. His learning style is different. And so for Brady, he had more sessions with me than Avery. Brady wanted more guidance. And so we spent a lot of time, Brady did, on Zoom calls. But his portfolio isn't as extensive, yet it still meets the requirements, and it's still, he just got a job. So he's just starting a job. Wyatt is starting a job today. So they have actually used their portfolio, their resume, to go out and get jobs. And Nora recently started working as well. So our team has utilized this, and that's really the key, to connect the students not only to the learning and the goals in the classroom, right, the learning goals, but to show them how to apply all of what they're learning in the classroom and take it outside into the world. And I feel like our students have done a great job at really transitioning to that.
One thing I want to jump in, I got a little note from a Wakelet friend to let everybody know, with spaces that's coming, one space can be your portfolio, but with a teacher, teachers can have the portfolios for each student, and that's going to be a game changer. And then there's some other little things that may be coming out that's going to expand even on the spaces.
We're so excited about spaces. I'm excited about all of it. So just those of you that are joining in, I will tell you that yesterday we all met together. It was our final meeting for our session, and we were working on the Wakelet together. And I shared with the students that the real-time updates were coming. And we are so excited about that as a team and as a group, right? I mean, because it's hard to work on a Wakelet right now. And, you know, I'm having to share my screen and go edit as they're sending me the links, but later they'll be able to all work together at one time, just like we do on Google Docs. So we're very excited about all of those changes. Anora is going to show you her graphic example here. So you saw some of Avery's graphics, and Avery was really great about showing her creation, showing where she made it, and really talking about the purpose. Now, Anora is going to talk about her graphic collection and why she created that.
Right, so I made this collection to be able to showcase how much I've grown, how much I have used, how I've used all the different platforms for different purposes. And so I saw someone ask earlier what the Moodboard layout is. This is the Moodboard layout. I used it for this because, number one, there's so many things in this collection, and it just looks, it's way less scrolling to have to see everything. And I really liked how it made it different shapes depending on the different things. Like, see this Napoleon Bonaparte one, which was for an English project. That is a website link, and it makes it bigger just like that. And you can scroll through it without having to actually click on the link. And the Twitter header is a different size than the Bunsies. And so I just liked the layout. And so that's why I chose this one. But I have it organized by the different dates. So as you scroll down more and more, you're getting more into 2019. And just seeing how that CHS marching band one that I made actually for a SWAT project is completely different than the marching band binder cover that I made for me and my friend at the very top. And so I really liked this because it just shows how I like to use everything differently. Most of the time I stick to Bunsy for projects, stick to Canva for more personal things. I use Adobe Spark when I'm just trying to help people out, trying to figure out ways to use that personally. I absolutely love Canva for my Twitter headers. I think I've only used them for Twitter just because they have that layout option to make it just perfectly sized for it. But I absolutely love this collection. I send it to people all the time whenever they ask what I do in SWAT. This is a really big part of it. I'm always tweeting something that I've made throughout the week. And so, yeah, it's one of my favorite things to just show how much progress I've made along with my music collection that I showed earlier.
I love this. I love this collection, Anora, because it really does show your growth as you became a graphic designer and really started learning. The thing I continue to hear you guys say, especially Anora, you hear her say that she loves Bunsy. So we were talking about quotes earlier with Wyatt. I'm going to say a phrase and I want you to finish it. Let's see if you know what it is. There is a way.
Not the way.
There is a way, not the way. We talk about that a lot in SWAT, and the goal is to really remind them that just because, you know, Wyatt doesn't like Bunsy necessarily as much as Anora, it doesn't mean Wyatt can't go in there and work in it, but maybe he does prefer Canva. I want them to really learn what they're great at, what they naturally can use. And that's just part of the learning process. Not one specific creation tool is going to work for everybody. One size doesn't fit all. But the great thing about Wakelet, and you can see that here with Anora's collection, is that she can add Bunsies, she can add Canvas, she can add PDFs, she can add Google Drive things that she's created, maybe in drawings, she can add videos. So the space in Wakelet gives students the ability to, you know, put in versatile artifacts, and no matter where they're coming from. And that's really the great power for students.
And the nice thing too is if she had video, especially if it was links from YouTube and you click on it, you don't go outside to YouTube. It opens right up and you can just scroll through. And I think it's the same with the Bunsy in here, if you have multiple bunsies, it can pull out. You can look at it, and then you can scroll to the next one and then go right back to the collection.
Yes, in the afternoon session, I'm actually showcasing an example using YouTube videos so that you can see that if you join or you want to watch the recorded session later. Avery's going to talk about calligraphy.
So I'm glad that Ms. Ponce opened this, because someone in the chat asked if it was like Instagram. And well, it's not like that in the sense that you can like it yet. Aren't they adding that feature?
Yes.
You are able to pull in links to Instagram. So back in October, I did a 30-day challenge, and I just pulled in all of the ones that I've done just to show how it looks in here, because I haven't pulled in Instagram links before. So
yeah, I actually really like what view did you use on this one, Avery?
I used the Moodboard, I think.
Yeah, it looks really, really nice and very balanced. Ms. Poncio always cares about all the graphic design on everything, so I love this one. And Avery, you know, again, we talk about using their talents and letting them express themselves and tell their stories, and I believe that this is a way that Avery can do that with this collection. Very good. I'm not good at calligraphy. I always have Avery make our homemade cards because I'm not the best at it. But again, that's a great collection.
Yes,
next, go ahead, Avery.
Someone in the chat mentioned that it was the grid view, and I was going to use the grid view, but I didn't like it because it made it a whole lot bigger, and there was only two right beside each other. But this way, I can see a whole lot more. And even as you scroll, parts of them aren't cut off.
Right. I see that now. Absolutely. Okay. What do we have coming up next? I believe we have Wyatt.
Yes. So I'm going to talk a little bit about our team building experience on Wakelet. And with this quarantine situation, we've had to find new ways to still bond as a team. And one amazing way that we came up with was a family quarantine kind of challenge. And so each one of our SWAT members made a sub collection, and on that sub collection, those are all the things that we included on our sub collection. So an activity that we did together as a family, books that we've read, any recipe ideas.
Whose family do you want me to click on, Wyatt?
You can go ahead and click on mine.
Okay, the Smith family collection.
Yes. So this was really neat to see how other families were kind of communicating together and working together and having fun together. And this was an opportunity for us to get to know each one better. But as you can see, I have a meme because we love memes in SWAT.
We love to communicate in memes. That's the SWAT way. We communicate in memes, sometimes only.
And my mom has a dog sitting business, and so that meme is very evident in our lives. Whenever they know the sound of whenever you hear a turkey bag opening, they hear it, they know it, so they come running. But we decorated cookies over Easter. Those are my sisters, definitely not me. Mine looked way worse than that. But that's a movie we watched. And there's just that. There's videos, a picture.
Oh yeah, part of the assignment was to tell us what you were thankful for, right? And grateful for in the middle of the pandemic and the isolation. I forgot that I had you guys do that. And you read this book?
Yep, I read that book for my dual credit English class.
Oh,
and there's the quiche again.
Quiche, you guys, you want to go grab that recipe and see about Wyatt's mom's quiche. She's going to be famous. We're trying to get her to set up a food truck so we could buy lunch from her before we went on isolation. Okay, so Wyatt, I also want to showcase, I believe Avery's. I think we have time to show this one.
You want me to talk about this one?
Yes.
Sure,
you know why I want to show this one, just because it shows how your family came together really to in a time of need. You guys were meeting a need. So go ahead. Avery and Erin is her sister. She's actually going to be a junior, and she's also on our SWAT team. So we had two sets of siblings on our team this year. Go ahead, Avery.
So, as you can see, there's the thankful and blessed sign, and I chose that. So then beside it, I can put what we're all thankful for. My mom is thankful for family, and my dad is thankful for working from home. And I think he's actually watching right now while he's working from home.
Hello,
And
Mr.
then Aaron's thankful for Zoom because we get to have meetings like this. And I'm thankful for the homemade pizza. I don't think we have a picture of it, but we do have a picture of a recipe my mom came up with, which is pan poppers. And it's basically jalapeno poppers in a casserole. And it's one of our favorite things to have. We celebrated my cousin's birthday while in quarantine. And we celebrated by having a cake and then playing a board game with her. And one thing, like Ms. Poncio said, with us all coming together to meet a need, is my mom volunteered to make masks for several people that we know. And we have a friend who runs kind of like a nursing home. So we made tons for them, and all of us helped. Erin and my dad cut out fabrics. I helped trim threads while she was sewing. And we all helped thread the strings. And it was just really cool to have us all come together for something like that. And then scrolling down, there's us decorating Easter eggs and then having an Easter egg hunt. And then that's just a book and a movie that we watched. So.
You know, what's really powerful about this lesson that I really haven't spoken out about, it was so powerful for me because when I assigned this assignment, put this together, shared it in Google Classroom, like always, I didn't expect how powerful their sub-collections would be for me. Seeing them, reviewing them, seeing how they were working together with their families, was just, it really, really touched my heart. And this is one of my favorite collaboration examples with students. So thank you guys for all sharing your families with the world today. I want to move on and just share one lesson plan example that I have created. I know this lesson plan has been shared many, many times across the Wakelet community. I'm going to show another example of a lesson plan later this afternoon. But this is a self-paced lesson for my students. It's very easy for me to pop this in their Google Classroom and assign it to them as I would any other assignment. I've given them learning goals. Of course, we love the immersive reader feature if students need that as an accommodation. And then it just goes through and it gives them instructions. So they had a book study, and you've seen our books that we've read for our class, and then having them go into Flipgrid to do book study reflections. That is also how I take grades as their teacher. Mm-hmm. This makes it very easy for me because I am a digital learning coach of about 50 plus teachers at the high school, plus helping the students with their iPads and just being in classrooms and teaching. This made it very easy for me to give them an assignment. They're self-pacing, and then they're going into Flipgrid, and I can easily grade those reflections. I've added in some PDFs for them, and you can see this one is very Flipgrid heavy. Later this afternoon, you'll see a lot of creativity in that lesson. I have them do personality quizzes. Wyatt, do you want to tell the audience why the personality quizzes are so important for our team?
Of course. So we take personality tests such as the Enneagram, the 16 personalities. And when we take these tests, we see our results. We share our results with the team. And from there, we are able to see who has a similar personality and who works well with each other. And that really helps us with our goals because we are able to pair team members together, and that really helps with thoughts and ideas, and they are able to work
and
together.
Also conflict resolution, yes. Right? We want you to know that we're like a family. So we have conflicts and we have to resolve those conflicts, and those personalities help. I'm going to pass it on to Ms. Zeman since we are getting close to time, and she is going to talk about research.
Okay, I'll wait till you kick out.
Hang on. Yes, I'm almost there. Okay, there you go.
Okay, let's see, where's share screen? Desktop. Where am I? Okay, So some of the things I've done this year is help teachers with creating projects. And this is one that actually, when I was in the classroom, I created this way back when it was a doc, but I turned around and I was able to put the entire thing into a Wakelet. And the thing that's great is this is where the sub collections and eventually spaces will come into play, where kids can create and add you as a collaborator. So what I did was I give the directions, and the main thing is they have to create a Wakelet. I had them create their cover images. And this one, I just got this from the Splash library that's through Wakelet. Kids can go and create in Canva or Buncee or whatever, Adobe Spark. There, I give all the directions of everything. And then of course they have to provide the MLA citation, and that's where they can type it in, paste it in. What I did was I provided them a link, and this is what's so important is I've given them the reliable resources already, which I will show you on another tab. Where is it? This little menu is in my way. I gave them all of the resources, put it in Moodboard, which I really liked, because now they can see everything. Some are videos, some are PDFs, some are documents, some are articles. The one thing I want to stress is sometimes a YouTube video may be restricted. So depending on your district, you may have to approve it for the kids to be able to watch it. And again, with YouTube, it just pops right out. So in their assignment, I give the actual topics with what they're supposed to respond to, scroll through, it's a group project. And then at the end, they had what I call is the multi-genre activity selections based on a project walk that they do after they see other informational things that I may provide or the teacher provides. And this is where the student voice comes into play and choice. They can use anything that they can dump into Wakelet. So I have them create an original poem. Sure, I want them to write it, but let's think outside the box and make a graphic. And I suggest Buncee or Canva or Adobe Spark. It's up to them. Have them create, pull a song where they can input the video, but then they also can put in their explanation of why they chose the song. And of course, we have to have it school appropriate. This one I changed up a little. It's an interview. And instead of just typing out the questions and the answers, I want them to be creative and create a video where they may be actually interviewing another person that they choose to answer the questions. And again, they can be super creative. Then I have the newspaper article, simple and to the point. They can just link it to their Google Drive. Then there's a Dear Abby and Dear Ann letter, and I just got kicked out. Sorry, I don't know what happened. Disappeared. Go back. Sorry. Where they're writing letters to Dear Abby, and again, they can post it in there. Then I did a Dear Diary entry where I want them to create a vlog. This is where they can use a Flipgrid Shorts video, which I love that integration, or they can create a video and upload it straight into Wakelet. And then the last thing was another video where they can use the Flipgrid Shorts video to create. So that's what I have them do there. I have a social justice unit that I've created with an English teacher. The possibilities are endless of what you can have the kids do in Wakelet. And then one of the other things I created for the teachers at the high school, and I got this idea from one of our fellow ambassadors, Amy Storer, a place using Moodboard where it's all popular links that teachers can access. These are things that they use all the time. Well, it's now become a one-stop shop. And this is something you could also share with kids that are district approved, where they can just find this one-stop shop for everything they want to use. I've done that with the going out with COVID. I had created remote learning resources for librarians and just threw everything I could in there to give them the access while we were out of school. So that's all my stuff.
Thanks, Deb. I'm going to share my screen now. So I really just want to touch on this as we're wrapping up and we're at the end of the hour. I want to remind all of the teachers that are with us, first of all, thank you so much for joining us. This is such a great experience for my students, Avery, Wyatt, and Honora, to see how many of you are out there globally joining us and learning with us. If you have not signed up for the Student Ambassador Program with Wakelet, I encourage you and your students to do that. What that did for my classroom actually set us up for what you see today. It gave my students the ability not only to learn how to communicate effectively and appropriately, but to collaborate with each other, to create things in Buncee, create things in Canva or Adobe Spark. It really made them think about real world issues and current events happening in our world today, and critically think through both of the sides of the argument. And really the foundation of everything that we do as teachers, especially now with remote and online learning, it gave them a foundation for digital citizenship and how to curate their information appropriately and cite sources. And really, at the end of the day, digital citizenship and information literacy is going to be the biggest thing that we do for our students. And once they have completed the tasks within the Student Ambassador Program, they really are confident then to go and do what Honora, Wyatt, and Avery have done. Wyatt, what is our call to action?
All right, so our call to action is simple but empowering, and that is to give students more options for assignments / hands-on projects, and give them a destination, but let them choose their way of transportation, a way, not the way. Don't be afraid to try something new with your students, and please don't limit your students' creativity. So thank you so much.
Absolutely. Thank you, Wyatt. That was great. Do we have any last questions as we're wrapping up, James?
Do you know what, Tish? And
James,
yes.
I'm so sorry to interrupt you, but I need to share my screen one more time. I hope everybody hasn't left because I have something else I want to show.
No, so they're still sticking around.
The Student Ambassador Program, James can pop the link in there. You guys can sign up. But I wanted to share this with you, and James is about to also put this link in the chat for you as well. What we did to prepare for this session, and your students can do the same thing if they are presenting ever. We put together a collection, and this is how we knew which order we were going to talk about every single collection we shared with you. And James is going to share this collection with you, and it has all of our collections put together into one place so that you guys can go back and review and reflect. That's what I have.
Amazing. Thank you, Tish. I've just shared that in the chat as well, so everyone check that out. But yeah, sadly, we are coming to the end. I mean, for me, that was an absolutely amazing session, and I think I speak for everyone. That was absolutely unbelievable. Even I learned so much from you guys, the SWAT team. So a massive thank you to Avery, Wyatt, and Honora, and of course, Deb and Tish as well. That was absolutely amazing. One thing to add, people have been asking a lot of questions about if this is recorded. Yes, it is recorded. So don't worry, even after this, you can still check out the amazing resources and examples that were shared. And then as well, that'll be emailed to you after this actually. We're also with a certificate of attendance. So after this, in about an hour's time, you'll get all the amazing examples, resources, the recording, and also a certificate as well. So yeah, just from myself and the team, guys, Avery, Wyatt, and Nora, absolutely amazing job. Those examples are just so inspiring for teachers and students across the world. As you saw with the comments there, absolutely incredible. And again, Deb and Tish, thank you so much. So inspiring for everyone here. Any last words from anyone?
Thank you so much, really. Oh, go ahead, Avery, go ahead.
So I saw someone asking us to put our call to action somewhere. They wanted a copy of it.
Okay.
And right after this ends, I'm sure we're all going to go tweet it out. So make sure to go follow CISD SWAT on Twitter to go like and retweet that call to action.
And I will add the call to action at the very top of the collection that James is sharing with you, the collection I showed that has all of our collections together. I will add that at the top. I just want to say to the entire Wakelet team, Jamil, Misbah, Callum, James, Tejas, all of you, thank you so much. It is such an honor for me and my team to be able to join you and really kick off the week. And you guys know that you can reach out to any of us, the SWAT account, our Twitter accounts, and we will communicate and engage with you and empower you as you are learning Wakelet and using Wakelet with your students.
Yeah, and what a way to start the week as well. That was like that's one of the best sessions I've ever been to myself. I learned so much as well. So thank you all, everyone, for joining, and everyone viewing as well. Thank you so much for joining from across the world to learn how you and your students can use Wakelet with some amazing examples to go off there. So what we'll do, guys, is we will mute our video and our sound, and we'll keep the chat open for around 5 to 10 minutes. So any questions you do have, please do ask them in the chat so all of us can answer any there. Also, guys, Avery, Wyatt, Anora, Tish, and Deb, please share anything you want to plug, whether that's the SWAT website or your Twitter accounts. Please do let people know how they can get hold of you, because I'm sure they do have a lot of questions.
Don't forget, Tish is presenting this afternoon, and then I'll be presenting with 3 other Rockstar librarians Thursday morning at 9 o'clock Central Time. So you're going to get to see more of what Tish does later today, and then a lot more of what we in the libraries do on Thursday.
Exactly. And we've got so many other sessions going on this week as well. I'll share the link to the whole week. But yeah, definitely check out collaboration with Anna and Tish. And on Thursday with Deb and the other librarians, we've got some amazing sessions for everyone. So no matter who you are, no matter where you are in the world, please join us for some very, very special sessions. So yeah, thank you everyone for joining. We know it's a strange time in the world right now, but to take time out of your day, even if it's just an hour, to learn more about Wakelet, and then obviously educate yourselves on how you can use Wakelet with your students too, is absolutely incredible to see. So from myself and probably the guys here and the Wakelet team, thank you so much for joining us, and look out for your email for the resources and everything there. Thank you.